Now, the question comes as to how to suit oneself in a given work culture or in a given organization. How one should mold his personality, his approach, and attitude. The most essential rule to have a very healthy work culture is one should be adaptable to the atmosphere in which he is working. One should understand the organization's nature, its ethics, its principles, the organizational culture before he starts working for the organization. Adaptability is the most essential trait of a very successful person, and therefore develop a fair policy for fair dealings. Always be open minded, fair, honest, and truthful to others. Transparency helps and pays in many ways. Accept people as they are. You cannot mold and change people every time. If no one is ready to accept what you want, but people are ready to share with what they like and what you like when you are on the common terms or on the same platform. Never try to impose your ideas and values every time. Force is a very bad power. If we impose our ideas on others, sometimes people may like, may appreciate, but every time everyone will not like this. Learn the environment and work culture. Change yourself accordingly, change your mindset and approach, and you will definitely be a successful person. Therefore, one should develop an approach which is not harming to others, which is not harmful to others. Have a flexibility. Be always ready to adjust certain expectations of others. Whenever you can share and accept ideas of others, then only others also are willing to share your ideas and accept your views. Please try to develop a positive attitude amongst your colleagues, subordinates, workers, and everyone who is working with you in the group. Because healthy relations, when rightly cultivated, often solve many difficulties in the life. There are certain social protocols. Every group develops certain norms of behavior, norms of discussion, norms of honoring and respecting others. Each and every person in the group will have certain his own personal beliefs, ideas, values. One should not try to insult such beliefs, ideas, and approaches without any intention, rather even with intention. Learn to honor others' ideas and values. Follow the social norms. That is a healthy way and the right way to cultivate a healthy culture. These protocols are related with group behavior and group attitude. Individually, people may have different approaches and attitudes, but when they work together in a group, they may develop a different way of behavior. They may adopt certain different group norms. Never differentiate and discriminate your group members. Never show a favoritism. Do not isolate yourself nor try to isolate others. That is a very unhealthy way of doing the work and working in a group. Know your own authority. Every organization works with a guided system. Someone always tries to change the things, but it is not possible every time. There will be certain people, some authorities, some persons with certain dignified positions. We should honor them. We should respect them. And if we respect the legitimate authority, we automatically develop a right kind of relationship with our superiors and authorities. Authority is nothing but the way in which organization has entrusted certain ideas, certain tasks, certain responsibilities to a person with certain specific level of competence and even certain abilities. Therefore, always respect the authority or accept the command of the authority. Develop a disciplined approach. That is a very simple thing. If we follow the command given by the authority, we can usually perform as expected. If we do not like a particular idea or command, then we should prefer to discuss. We should try to explain our views in a very respectable, in a very formal and appropriate manner. Please never equate authority with age and qualification. One may be junior to you, but having a superior authority. It is advisable that the person's age, his qualifications should not be considered when we are talking to a person with authority. We should respect the position and we should respect the person simultaneously. In every organization, there will be certain levels, certain layers. Most of the organizations are having multi-layer approach. Naturally, the authority flows from top to bottom. We should know where do we stand, what is our role, what is our responsibility, what is the authority content entrusted to us, and accordingly we should decide how we should behave in a group, how we should respect the people, how we should command, and how we should accept the command. That is the way which helps us to improve our performance. Understand the mindset and mentality of the people who are working as superiors to you, people who are working with you as your colleagues, and people who are working as your juniors. There are various cultural, social, political, as well as even ideological differences that will be there in every organization, because every person is different. He has his own attitude, mindset, and even a behavioral pattern. It is not easy to change all these things. Neither it is advisable to change all these things. Furthermore, some people are definitely hard nuts. They do not like to others. They do not like to accept command. They do not like many other people. They do not like to work properly and in a healthy manner in a group. It is advisable that such hard nuts should be slowly and gradually be cracked. We should use a stick only in certain selective approach, but preferably a carrot and stick approach often pays. That doesn't mean every time this will work, but understanding the mindset, mentality of a hard nut, trying to know his weaknesses or her weaknesses, and then using an appropriate approach may help us to work or improve their work performance. Mentality or mindset is another thing. Many people find it difficult to adjust in a given situation. They always feel that this is a very adverse situation. They cannot work in this particular climate or environment. They cannot work in this type of organization. They cannot work with certain type of people. And some people always are, of course, stubborn. We should accept that these are the realities of life. We cannot change people every time, and every person cannot be changed every time. Therefore, we have to understand this mindset of the people, and accordingly, we should develop a right approach, a strategic approach to see that they work in a group properly, they work with you, or they work in a particular group as expected, and follow the norms, and also deliver the results or targets. Many people, when we use I approach, feel insulted. It is not advisable to, in every case, to say that I have done this, I can only do this. This I approach is an indication of ego. This I approach results into various kinds of insults, various kinds of difficulties that you face in the organization. This I approach results into various types of troubles that are the result of hurting someone's ego. And therefore, always have a we approach. Instead of using I, if we say we have done it, we can do this, we are there to perform this, it is our responsibility and not my responsibility, then naturally people often do not resist, they do not stop working, they automatically develop a sense of belongingness. Whenever we are organizing a meeting for a particular task or work, please see to it that everyone gets an opportunity to participate and express. Never suppress people, their feelings, their opinions, their way of talking, or even their opportunity to express themselves. When we do this, we make people feel that they are not needed, they are isolated, they are of lower standards, they develop an inferiority complex. Similarly, when we keep on saying only I can do this, I have done this in past, and only I know about this kind of approach towards group, towards work, creates a feeling that a particular person is trying to imposing on others his image, his ideas, his views, and he is not ready to respect others. This is not fair. Instead of that, we accept others as they are. We accept in every member in the group as if he matters a lot. And then we try to discuss in a manner in which everyone is given a fair chance and opportunity to participate. Many problems can be rightly visualized and can be solved. Sometimes a new assignment or task is given to a person. Before he accepts, he should study the job. And before he accepts a new assignment, he should study what kind of challenges, difficulties that will be there in this new job, for which we have to develop a right mannerism. We have to have a proper dress code in certain cases if required, and cultivate a right way to speak, to express, to explain, and examine our views as well as views of others. Whenever we do this, We usually prepare a climate, we usually prepare a position, we usually prepare a situation which becomes more favorable to us, and many of the likely difficulties can be minimized. Study who are the people who are observing you, your superiors. Study who are the people who are working with you, your colleagues. Study who are the people who are working for you, your subordinates. Because everyone who is working with you, who is observing you, who is helping you, studies your personality, your performance, and your behavior. Therefore, you should learn from their behavior and you should develop a favorable behavior. Practice successful acts. The practices, the behavioral patterns, the approaches, and the manners which are more successful, which are more favorable, which are more acceptable, should be adopted by us. We should not try to initiate with everything that is new, which is foreign to a group, foreign to an institution, because many times, not that the ideas that we have initiated are bad, but they are not rightly accepted, they are not rightly understood, and therefore there will be a lot of resistance. Conflict is a very common aspect of every group behavior. Every group will have certain doubts, certain conflicts, certain kind of difficulties, certain kind of differences, and that is very obvious. Conflict often results into arguments. That also is very common. But please see to it that every debate is made healthy, every debate is made in a congenial climate, and every debate results into a fruitful solution. It should not result into hatred, it should not result into enmity. And that is why, whenever we are having an argument in a group about a task, about the mood, about its performance, do not try to see that you win. Do not try to see that only your views are accepted. Do not try to say or see that only others are defeated in some more way, or they are um, forced to accept your ideas. Making people unhappy by disturbing their views and ideas will not work in a group, because even if one wins by making a strong argument and making others making others to accept his ideas, that doesn't mean he has he has achieved certain good things. That doesn't mean he has gained a victory. Sometimes, on the contrary, he has gained some enemies. And therefore, this approach of making people accept our ideas per force is not advisable. Then how can we make conflict resolution? Please try to see that every argument is not for winning. When people ask questions, that doesn't mean they are doubting one's competence or capabilities or abilities. It is their right to ask questions. It is better that they should ask questions, because if they ask questions before they start a particular work, then many of their doubts can be rightly cleared. Many of their problems can be rightly solved before they actually perform or participate in an activity. This will automatically help to minimize future conflicts also. And therefore, encouraging healthy debates is an essential aspect. Sometimes, whenever we are talking in a group about a particular task or assignment, see to it that everyone is rightly welcomed. He is provided with a cup of tea, not because he wants a cup of tea, but that results into starting a very healthy group discussion, a healthy dialogue, and because of which many of the doubts, many of the likely problems can be automatically solved. Never work with a ego. Have a clear air, fair opportunity to others, and a fair way of accepting others' views, because it leads to friendly relations. In organizations, though performance is very important, at the same time, healthy human relations are also equally important. We cannot do without healthy human relations for long term. In many cases, people leave the organization not because there is a want of opportunity or rewards, but the climate, the culture of the organization doesn't suit them. We can make efforts to make the culture healthy, acceptable, and friendly only through dialogues and an open mind communication. In many cases, when we are assigned a task with a deadline, with a specific target, which we fail to maintain, we often feel disgruntled, we often feel unhappy. That doesn't give us a right to get angry with others, because anger is a form of devil. Whenever we have clash with others, it often results into some kind of acrimonious debate, then of course hatred, and then insults, and because of which the healthy climate in the organization is permanently destroyed. One small insult may even cause a great damage to the organization in long run. Therefore, it is not advisable that we should have acrimonious debates and suppress others. Controlling temper becomes therefore very essential. In dialogues, in discussions, in communication, it is advisable to avoid harsh words, insulting words, words that will cause damage to one's reputation or credibility, because that is a permanent kind of damage. Sometimes weapons do not cause a damage, but words often cause a damage more harmful than what weapons can do. Insults usually are not forgotten. And therefore, if we want to have healthy relations, very congenial relations, we should not spoil such relations by a single wrong word which will insult or cause damage to the dignity of someone else. Many times, we may not agree with others. Our objectives, our intentions, our modes of performance may not be liked by others. Does it mean it gives a right to us to attack someone personally? To have a physical, to attack on someone's physical limitations, his dignity, his qualifications, his personality, his behavior pattern? No, this cannot be. Causing attack on someone's personal views, beliefs is a very dangerous thing. People always believe in certain things as pious, as very good. We should not cause harm to them on the basis of their values, their religion, their caste, creed, because no one forgets this. On the contrary, people remember this for long, and through which it results into a kind of permanent enmity, not within the but outside the organization also. So it is advisable not to become personal, never attack and approach beliefs of others, never doubt competence, never challenge others unnecessarily. Whenever we challenge others' competence, caliber, their ambitions, people become ferocious. People get angry. They try to cause damage not only to the person or the authority, but to the entire organization. Most of the problems in the organization are out of such kind of personal damages, personal insults than any other reason. And therefore, it is always advisable that one should not be personal. One should not cause damage to one's dignity, one's personality, one's beliefs in any way whenever it comes to organization. One most important but very essential thing is that if at all one is in full faith in himself, his competence, his beliefs, and about a particular task, there is no reason to sacrifice it unnecessarily. One should express his views with a confidence. One should say that I know and therefore I am doing this. One should be upright while expressing his views, while accepting views of others also. To be assertive is always essential. That doesn't mean we should be aggressive. To be assertive is not aggressive. To be assertive means ready to accept as well as ready to share our own views, ready to understand and explain why I believe in a particular thing. Straightforward approach often, though in short term one feels that is not useful, but in long term a straightforward approach always pays, because people then understand your honesty, your transparency, and your belief in your ideas and beliefs, and therefore people like you. A person who is honest, straightforward, and transparent usually is respected for a longer period than a person who shirks, who deceives, and who works for short term gains. Lastly, very important thing, one should always be objective about situation. Do not dream. Do not say this is possible when it is impossible. Do not say this is easy when it is difficult. Do not develop a bias. Do not develop an unnecessary like or dislike and disbelief in certain things. Never have unreasonable fear also. What one should be is what it is. One should accept the realities. One should accept every situation in a very objective manner, because that helps him to perform better. We can visualize the likely threats. We can have a right and rational estimate of likely challenges, and then we can perform better. Objective about situation is the way to perform not only in a right manner, but is the way to understand what are the likely difficulties, what are the challenges while performing the task. One can prepare in advance for all such expected as well as unexpected challenges. One can have a right understanding of the situation, and accordingly one can develop right set of solutions also, and therefore one can prepare in advance about likely consequences and situations in case of failure. All these things definitely matter whenever it comes to a challenging ordeal, and therefore before we perform a task, have an objective assessment of the situation. So I feel that if we understand these simple basic rules of work, we can perform better in an organization. We can give justice to the task assigned to us. We can help others in performing, and we can improve the overall performance of the organization, contribution of our group or our department, as well as we can improve our own personality and learn more from the situations. Thank you very much. Please.